Good day, muffins. So, yes, y'all are seeing it. I had my wisdom uninstalled. Alright, deep fried, you may ask, what's the point of this story time doodle? I don't know, man. I just kind of want to record my process here so that someone in the future can watch this and feel a bit more confident going into their own extraction. Some background here. Before they were removed, mine were budding laying down horizontally in the bottom. Both are pushing the teeth in front of them and are causing them to be crooked. My dental surgeon explained to me that I could have left them in, and there will be a 1% chance each year that some bacteria might settle into the gap and cause a cyst. Then a bigger surgery will have to be done. Now, if I decide to eat them right now, the chance of short-term or permanent damage to the nerve nearby is very slow, but it's still there. However, the older I get, the higher the risk will go since my bones will be less flexible. So, yep, I might as well suffer once and never worry again. And suffer I did. Well, just kidding. It's actually not too bad, trust. Also, it's basically fully covered by my health plan. Being a master's student sure is nice. Day -1. I finished my leg day in the gym and my work at school. Treat myself to a big kebab plate, cause my ass will not be able to eat any good food for the next 5 days. Now I need to move to my parents' place with my 2 blowhire, since I need someone to be with me on the day of the surgery for safety and cook me food while I recover. Now I'm not used to this bed and it's hot as hell and I got a case of night before big day anxiety, so the sleep is not optimal, but well, we make do. Day 0. Alright, alarm rings at 9 but I'm already awake. Doctor said 8 hours of dry fast before surgery, but I was asleep for most of it anyways. The operation is at 10. We arrived at the office, signed some papers, and I left my credit card and PIN with my family, since legally they will not be allowed to ask me to pay or sign anything after I went under sedation. Then they walked me to the room where I lie down. The technician started putting probes on me, 3 electrodes on my torso to monitor my heartbeat, finger clamp for blood oxygen, air cuff on my left arm to measure my blood pressure every 5 minutes, and an injection adapter stabbed into my right arm to administer the anesthesia. And then they give me some nitrous oxide to breathe to make me relax. Surprisingly, I did not get high. Or did I just not remember it? I'm not sure. So then I was awake the entire time, but just time dilated. The entire operation took about an hour, but from my perspective, it is just a few minutes of lying on the bed half awake, like a typical Tuesday morning. And I didn't even feel any pain during the time dilation. Okay, then I wake up and only feel very slight pain. The first few steps I took were shaky, but I quickly came back to full consciousness. Anyway, the staff helped me switch to a new set of gauze, and I'll have to keep biting on it for another hour. We bring home the medicine and a printout of the instructions. 1 hour later, I'm sitting at home and spitting out 2 pieces of crimson-drenched gauze. Either way, I just drink my milk and take my ibuprofen and antibiotics. Over day 0 to day 1, I'll need to put an ice pack on my cheek in 20-minute intervals to promote the blood clot forming and the healing. From here on out, my diet will consist of steamed eggs, tofu, protein-fortified milk, soy milk, mashed potato, congee, and ice cream. Medication will be taken 3 times a day, during meals or at least with a half-full stomach. And remember to never use a straw because you will suck away the newly formed blood clot, protecting the wound, causing a dry socket. That is hella painful according to every single source I come across. Luckily, never happened to me. Day 1, spend mostly reading books and watching anime on my iPad. I can rinse my mouth with warm, salt water every meal now. Sleeping is surprisingly okay, though I have to lay on my back so as to not put pressure on my chin. Day 2, I wake up to more swelling and I can't even swallow the breakfast properly, and my mouth just struggled. Now, this is actually normal, as the guide also mentioned that swelling usually peaks on day 2 to 4. It looked okay from the outside, but internally, I feel like a rock is inside my jaw. Over the day, the swelling and discomfort peaked and gradually subsided, thank Lord. And in the afternoon, I was finally able to brush my teeth and shower for the first time in 3 days. So finally, I don't have to be a CS student now. Day 3, swelling reduced a lot, and I kept up the soft and fluid diet as usual. And now I can finally play some video games, although, I had to use my old laptop to astral project into my home PC using Parsec, then log into the game from there. Now, for the sleeping situation, we were actually in a heat wave back then, so my room just turned into a freaking deep fryer. Yeah, contrary to popular belief, the optimal living temperature for deep fried pancake is an 18-degree basement with low humidity. If you place me in a deep fryer for too long, I would dry up. Day 4 to 5, the swelling mostly subsided, but I still feel a slight discomfort. I got back to working on my thesis for a bit, but my brain power is limited by the lack of extra monitors. It is also now I realize how small 1366 x 768 on that old laptop is. By the way, over the first few days, I basically had 0 Tourette's tics, as the swelling, bleeding, and discomfort caused my body to suppress it automatically. But from here on, my tics came back. Fuck my life. So yes, this is an actual thing. For some of us, our Tourette's tics sometimes get automatically suppressed during physical damage, such as a bone fracture or a severe cold or flu. This does not mean we're actually faking our Tourette's. Now you know better. The nights are cooler now, but still warm, so I have to sleep with my blanket half on. Meanwhile, my 2 sharks are just sitting there on a chair, as I would have died from heat stroke if they were on me. Remind me again why I bring them over. Day 6, basically no pain or any discomfort now, unless I mess with it actively. I'm also able to eat some fish and meat with my congee for the first time. Now I need to start irrigating the gap left behind with a syringe daily. It does feel uncomfortable with a shocking feeling when I do it. Feels similar to triggering a sensitive tooth or the first sip of salt water when it hits a canker sore. Well, and now I can floss, which is nice. Day 7, I finally went outside for lunch for the first time. Feels pretty nice, but the chewing still makes it sore, and sometimes food with stronger flavors or salt do trigger some pain in it. But yeah, that's my first week. Wow, I survived. Over this entire medical retreat, surprisingly, I only lose about 3 pounds, which is within the range of my weekly up and downs, despite eating much less. I guess not working out and lying down all day balances it out. Now, at the same time, I am definitely in a state of not wanting to move for most of the time. This confirms much of the research presented by this Kurzgesagt video, I guess. Then from day 8 to 11, I keep up my irrigation. The shocking feeling gradually improved, but I was still being very careful with food choices to not trigger anything. Until starting at around day 12 to 13, I can irrigate without discomfort. Moreover, the amount of soreness coming from just chewing decreased a lot. I looked it up, and the sources say this is when the granulation tissue is being formed as the exposed wound closes. It's very similar to when a skin wound or canker sore turns darker and it gradually hurts a lot less over a few days. This is the later stage when the lower skin cells start growing back. Thus, we're making good progress here. During this period, I also went to the Pride Parade, went back to the gym for a push day, and party with the homies on Canada Day. And I finally started to eat some previously risky food items such as chips and pizza. During earlier stages, the crispy parts can get stuck in the hole and cut my wound. On day 15, I went back to the clinic for a checkup. They told me it's healing very well and there's nothing to worry about. I can also start using my electric toothbrush again. However, it would take another 2 to 4 weeks until the gap is completely closed and filled with gum tissue. Apparently, there will be a day where I go irrigate it and find out the hole doesn't exist anymore. Now during this, I still won't be able to have anything with nuts or small seeds, for example sesame, poppy seeds, strawberry, or kiwi. But it's okay, I've already been indulging in a significant amount of ice cream. So yep, that wraps up my life doodle. Oh, and as a bonus, on my birthday, this was a bit before the surgery, so I hit a bench PR. I was finally able to bench a full plate for the first time in my life. Master degree sure is nice. I get to learn a lot and do research on my favorite topics, and it comes with a health plan. So I'm now done with my courses on the first year and will be cooking my thesis full-time for my second year. Still, I want to do more fun stuff for the rest of the summer, so hopefully I can get more videos done. As usual, like the video if you like it, subscribe if you want to see more, leave a comment telling me how I can improve. Love y'all, see you nada!